precisely why I became a teacher. To spark potential, to give my students both the opportunity to succeed and the motivation.
Koro Sensei exemplified at the highest level what it means to be a teacher and what it means to lead a classroom of students. He may be the best example of what it means to be a teacher brought to animation. Who else have we seen to challenge his students on a daily basis? Who else was shown to know and care about each of his students on an individual level? Who else have we seen put the work in and sweat for his students? Koro Sensei exemplified all of these things in his teaching, yet his pathway to education was not a typical journey. Koro Sensei once said, broadly speaking, there are two reasons a person feels the desire to teach something. Either he wants to pass on his successes, or he wants to pass on his failures. Both are true for Koro Sensei. Koro Sensei didn't become a teacher because he liked kids or because he believed in the abstract notion of children being the future. He became a teacher because the first person in his life to show him true compassion was a teacher. His traumatized life of pain guided him in the way of the assassin. After years of killing and death, his misdeeds caught up with him, and he found himself bound and experimented on in a lab of scientific torture. But because he received the kindness of a woman who wasn't long to live, he decided to change his path, and when circumstance ushered her out of this life, he took up her mantle and became a teacher to pass on the gift she had given him to Class E3, a class of the most undesirable students most had given up on.
To be an assassin, one must have a pretty high level of self-awareness. Being in life or death situations makes you aware of your own weaknesses. So when Koro Sensei found himself looking at a world that wasn't full of death, but rather hope, bonds of love, and nurturing, he was able to see where in his past he went wrong, and where he would have done differently if his world was only a touch brighter. Namely in his protege, a nameless boy from a privileged household that Koro Sensei led down the dark path of assassination, whose eventual death Koro Sensei was responsible for. So, in lieu of his former protege, Koro Sensei poured his love and care into a class of middle school students who were deemed disruptive and undesirable. He taught them their primary academic subjects. He challenged them in lessons designed for them to surpass their current selves. He met with them all on an individual level. Koro Sensei sharpened their minds, gave them advice, and helped them to sweep up the fractured pieces of their young lives. Sure, Koro Sensei could move at Mach 20 speed and had superhuman regenerative ability while doing it. But even without them, he exemplified what it means to be a real teacher. We saw Koro Sensei as a planner, a modeler, a mentor, a confidant, a special educator, a coach, a father, a taskmaster, and a friend. Traits a true teacher has and will exemplify when needed. Always teaching, always inspiring, even until graduation day. Upon the Class E3's graduation, Koro Sensei left each of his students a gift, something that would be of use to them in the future. A book of advice, more like an almanac, to help and guide his students even when he's gone. Very little is revealed about what the book actually said, but knowing Koro Sensei, we can be assured that it was thoughtful, encouraging, and wise. And it may have even started with a letter.
Dear students, if you're reading this, I'm no longer with you. But even more importantly, it means you've graduated. This year, you've made some astonishing progress. I'm very proud of you. It was so good to be your teacher and mentor, but even though you've passed the test of Class E3, the greatest test lies beyond. What will you do with your life? I cannot be with you to guide you through that journey, but I've prepared for you an advice book that you can use to help you down your path. In it, I wrote down all the practical wisdom that I want to impart to you. Please take advantage of it. I know personally that losing a student because I didn't guide them down the right path is a teacher's greatest regret. But over the past year, I've poured into you every lesson that I've neglected to teach, which flowed over into this advice book, which you should find an easy but meaningful read. Stay safe and make your greatest dreams come true.